I'm innocent. I would never hurt my wife, Maggie, and I would never hurt my son, Paw.
Convicted murderer Alex Murdaugh is writing to friends from prison, echoing his testimony in his double murder trial, proclaiming his innocence in the murders of his wife Maggie and son Paul. I'm Angenette Levy, and thanks for joining us here on Law and Crime. Alex Murdaugh readily admits that he stole millions of dollars from clients and the law firm that bore his name for more than 100 years. But according to a story in The Messenger, one of Murdaugh's friends, Chuck Arnold, said, quote, "He's a broken man. He's trying to make amends for the financial crimes he admits that he committed, but he insists he did not kill Maggie and Paul." This comes as Murdaugh's attorneys plan to appeal his convictions on those murder charges, and he faces trial on more than 100 financial crime charges, including tax evasion. Meanwhile, Murdaugh's attorneys have filed new documents in a lawsuit filed against him by the sons of Gloria Satterfield, the Murdaugh's former housekeeper. Gloria Satterfield fell on some steps at the Murdaugh's Moselle property in February of 2018 and died weeks later. Murdaugh now claims he lied to the insurance companies about his dogs tripping Satterfield, so those companies would pay out the claims. His lawyers in new court documents say Satterfield told a neurosurgeon at the hospital, quote, "I don't know why I fell." Murdaugh admits concocting the scheme to steal the $4.2 million paid by his two insurance companies for Satterfield's fall. The Satterfields recovered more than $7 million from other sources, including Murdaugh's former law firm and Bank of America. But because this claim was based on a lie, Murdaugh's lawyers say the money should not have been paid at all, while they also say Murdaugh's actions injured the Satterfields and they may have a valid claim against him. Last week, I asked the Satterfields' lawyers about whether they were worried the entire settlement would fall apart, causing the Satterfields to possibly repay the money they had received.
More fundamentally, there's a signed settlement agreement in which Nautilus Insurance Company agrees to pay the Satterfields $3.8 million. That did not happen. All right, so that payment was intercepted by Alex Murdaugh and stolen. And so legally, technically, we never got the $3.8 million from Nautilus Insurance Company.
If they got the $3.8 million that was paid by Nautilus, if it went through Alex and Corey and got to them, then technically, yes, they could make a claim and say, you know what, we were fraudulently induced to do this. But again, putting aside all that, there's 100 years of release and settlement law that would have to be overcome. They did this with open eyes. They had the absolute right and investigated these claims.
Murdaugh's lawyers call the arguments of the Satterfields' attorneys nonsense, and they say that attorney Eric Bland is guilty of misconduct for making prejudicial statements outside of the courtroom. For his part, Bland called the latest filings by Murdaugh's lawyers, quote, legal toilet paper. In the end, a judge will decide. For Law and Crime, I'm Angenette Levy.